I've said it 1,000 times on this show. Roger Goodell only has the amount of power that the 32 NFL owners allow him to have. And now we have proof via testimony from Goodell that he's a pawn, a punching bag willing to take all the blows for the league.
And I'm asking you, what specific steps will the NFL take to hold Mr. Snyder accountable for refusing to testify before Congress?
Madam Chairwoman, I do not have any responsibility for whether he appears before Congress. That is not my choice. That is his choice.
Let me stop you right here.
The House of Representatives may force Washington Commanders team owner Dan Snyder to testify by way of subpoena, possibly, finally, forcing him to account for his sins.
Mr. Snyder has not been held accountable. His refusal to testify sends a clear message that he is more concerned about protecting himself than coming clean with the American people. If the NFL is unwilling or unable to hold Mr. Snyder accountable, then I am prepared to do so.
Yes, yes, Dan's going down. Down, down, down. Dan's going down. All right, there's some controversy around the Avalanche's incredible overtime win in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Baker Mayfield, is he going to Seattle? And we'll dive in to this Dan Snyder shit one more time. Whew, that's good. Sports. Before we get into the dumb jokes, I did want to address the Ravens situation. It's been a sad week for the Baltimore Ravens and Ravens fans. It's been a sad offseason for the NFL in terms of players dying. And Wednesday, it was announced that Ravens linebacker, 26-year-old Jalen Ferguson, had passed away. And then later that day, one of the all-time legends at the nose tackle position, Tony Siragusa, also died. A cause of death hasn't been announced for either man, but plain and simple, this just sucks. ESPN posted this about Ferguson's death. At approximately 11:25 p.m. Tuesday, Baltimore police said officers responded to a home in the northern district of the city where they found Ferguson unresponsive and being treated by medics. Ferguson never regained consciousness and was pronounced dead on the scene by medics, according to police. Baltimore police said there were no signs of trauma found and no foul play was suspected at this time. All I want to say is that I hope everyone who knew and loved these guys finds some sense of peace and that they are honored appropriately moving forward. And the Oscar for the best portrayal of an athlete in 2022 goes to Lou Young.
Right, green screen it.
You're my
Wifey, wifey.
That video is about a week old, but I swear to God, I watch it once a day just so I can feel unlimited.
Broncos country. Let's rock!
Lou has a YouTube channel with a bunch of funny vids, so make sure you check him out. Now, my Colorado Avalanche beat the Lightning in Game 4 in overtime on a simply poetic goal by Nazem Kadri. But it didn't come without controversy. Well, first of all, nobody knew the puck went in. I was watching that game while recording an episode of the That's Good Broncos podcast last night.
There has to be that third cog. There has to be the fact that they are also...
And I thought it was my hockey ignorance tricking my eyes.
Win.
Oh, that did go in. That did go in.
Did they score?
They're celebrating. Oh, there's a fight too. They're celebrating. No, that's just a celebration. Oh my God.
Oh, because they got stuck in the net and they thought it was on top maybe? Oh, that is...
Okay, so it wasn't just me being stupid. But nobody knew it was a goal. This was one of the broadcasts from the game on the goal.
Kadri! Where's the puck? How did that not go in?
It did. It did go in. It did? It did. We did. He scores! Nazem Kadri! The Kadri man can!
Shit, even Kadri, the man who scored the goal, who's also 2 weeks out from finger surgery, didn't know it went in. Kadri, by the way, gets the first ever Big Stick Player Award. Stick, because of hockey. But the controversy came when Tampa Bay's head coach John Cooper insinuated the goal shouldn't count in a very dramatic press conference after the game.
You're gonna see what I mean when you see the winning goal. And my heart breaks for the players, because we probably still should be playing. I'll be available tomorrow.
It's pretty sad that after 2 years of having Tom Brady in town, all Tampa sports teams expect the officials to help them win every game. The Lightning won a cup while being $18 million over the cap, something Cooper basically bragged about while calling the Avs cheaters.
And in a cap era, when it's so damn hard and the rules are put against you, because the league wants parity.
Plus, last year the Lightning scored a goal with 7 players on the ice in the postseason, and during the Kadri goal, the Lightning had 7 players on the ice again. In football terms, they're bitching about a 12th man on the field who had nothing to do with the play, while they had 13 men on the field. Furthermore, Colorado was dominating overtime and they would have won no matter what. The Avalanche will be back home for Game 5. Maybe I'll stream during that game. And all I hope is that this guy will be there to root them on and be on even more drugs. This is what happens when a Broncos fan fails mime school because he kept skipping class to surf and is now on the Avalanche bandwagon and is also rich enough for glass seats. Now, according to Josina Anderson, the Seattle Seahawks may not be inflicting Drew Lock on their fans this season. Instead, they're still in the Baker Mayfield sweepstakes, which is a 3-team race right now between Seattle, Carolina, and the Browns. The Browns are stuck between a rock and Deshaun Watson during a massage. On one hand, they know they're about to go into a full season with Jacoby Brissett as their QB if they trade Baker. But on the other hand, they lost so many assets in the Deshaun Watson trade that they need to recoup something by trading Baker to a QB-needy team. Now, Anderson, on Twitter, stated that there is a high level of interest by the Seahawks and Baker. There's a high level of interest in everything after the Fed raised the rates last week. Finance. I thought Seattle was out on Baker, but maybe after watching Locke and Geno in minicamp, their desire regenerated, like a lizard tail. Speaking of lizards, Goodell on Dav Portnoy. That's right, Roger Goodell lied under oath, stating that he wasn't aware of the NFL's ban on Barstool founder and pizza reviewer Dav Portnoy. Now, I have no hard evidence that Goodell lied, other than how the fuck does he not know about Dav Portnoy? Portnoy has hated Goodell since Spygate and Deflategate, when he believed that the Patriots were unfairly punished by the league office. Portnoy protested at NFL headquarters, got arrested at said headquarters, made shirts with clown noses on Goodell's face, and ultimately snuck into Super Bowl 53 before getting kicked out and banned from all NFL media events. On Wednesday, during testimony, when U.S. Representative Jim Jordan asked Goodell during the House Committee on Oversight and Reform why Portnoy was banned from the NFL, Goodell said this.
Pardon me, I couldn't hear your question.
Why do you ban Dav Portnoy from NFL games?
Congressman, I'm not familiar with that issue. I'm happy to check with my staff, but I'm not aware of that. Yes.
That sounds like something you'd say when you are definitely familiar with the issue. Barstool is one of the biggest sports media outlets there is. In fact, one of the bigger online media outlets in general, and Portnoy has made it his mission to get under Goodell's skin for the past decade. Of course, this isn't why Republican representatives asked Goodell about Barstool and Deflategate and other unrelated stuff to the Dan Snyder investigation. They saw this entire hearing as a farce and a waste of taxpayer money and wanted to hammer that point home by turning it into a joke. Jim Jordan, who was questioning Goodell, also kept referring to the Commanders,
The Washington Redskins,
which I'm sure was no accident. Now I'm totally fine with our politicians fucking up our entire country from top to bottom. I really am, but the minute they start messing with my football, I get offended. And the fact that these clowns are trying to protect Dan Snyder is disgusting. Now I got sidetracked here because, well, the Portnoy stuff was funny. But Goodell was testifying to the House Oversight Committee about their investigation of the Washington Red Commander Skins' hostile workplace environment. So credit Goodell for showing up and speaking on the NFL's investigation of the Washington Commanders and at least trying to defend the NFL's punishment of the Commanders, which was the $10 million fine they initiated last summer and Dan Snyder being forced to allow his wife to run the team, which some say is the harshest punishment you can give a sexist pig like Dan Snyder. Hey, the month of June's almost over, and so is my discount for 10 years of That's Good Sports at BenchwarmerBrew.com. Use the code BIGDICKDECADE to get a 10% discount on my personal coffee. And if you sign up for the subscription service, you get 25% off, and then you use that promo code, that's 35% off, and I make no money! This is what's important from this hearing. The reason the House is investigating the Commanders, even after the NFL did its own investigation, is because the NFL refused to release their findings on the investigation. And that seemed like a big problem because what was revealed about Dan Snyder and the Commanders over the last 20 years looks really, really bad. Furthermore, during the recent investigation, more accusations came out, details from the existing accusations came out, a real sports podcast shed even more light on the rampant sexual harassment, and the Gruden email sent out even more red flags, and every piece of information we get about this shit that we get privy to makes the NFL look like it wasn't holding Dan Snyder accountable, and that their punishment was a facade. The timeline of events regarding this investigation seems to have been written by Christopher Nolan. It's incredibly hard to follow, and I'm sick of talking about it. We learned Dan Snyder paid $1.6 million to a woman who accused him of a sexual assault on the team plane. There are 40 former Washington Commanders employees with legal representation making claims against the team, and that Dan Snyder conducted a shadow investigation. What the fuck is a shadow investigation? Well, it was Dan Snyder abusing his power in an attempt to discredit his accusers, pay off accusers, and intimidate journalists covering the story. Snyder is currently refusing to testify, which makes everyone believe that if he talks, he will go down in flames, and hopefully this new subpoena proves that to be true. However, the House won't even agree on whether or not Snyder should be subpoenaed. We have all assumed Snyder has kept his position as Washington Commander, team owner, because he's too powerful. And the fact that half of the House committee is protecting him kind of confirms that. Now, this all came after Roger Goodell said he didn't have the authority to remove Dan Snyder during the hearing. He doesn't. That's a vote that needs to happen by the 31 other NFL owners, but he can start that process. And at this point, who knows what will happen with Dan Snyder? I thought he was going down the minute we learned he stole money from the other NFL owners. The NFL seems like they believe they did enough to punish him. Everyone else on earth seems to disagree, and that's where we're at. But here's what's crazy. Here's what I found after doing some digging. There is a way the NFL, Roger Goodell, can remove Dan Snyder in a harmonious way that will ensure he never steps anywhere close to an NFL stadium once again. And I can't believe nobody has talked about this, but what the NFL has to do is... Oh my God, send help. There are men in my house. There are men in my house with red and black uniforms with W's on them, and they are being forceful. They're